Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you ready, boys and ghouls? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast!
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls.
Along with our journeys as collectors. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Are those bubbles?
Bubbles, the beakers are overflowing with fluids. We are back in the spooky laboratory. It might even be raining, and there might be thunder, and there might be creatures of the night outside.
That was my spooky laugh.
It was very spooky. You know what, though, Dave? You know who knows a thing or two about being spooky?
I know somebody who knows something about being creepy.
Creepy, spooky. Our favorite Boo Dude.
Hey guys, you remember you said the fluids were pouring over? A lot of that was me. Have to apologize for all the fluids.
If Dave's good for one thing, it's contributing to fluids.
Well, it depends on the year and the month, but I'm ready for some fluids, and it's October, which means we're getting wet and wild.
That's right.
It's rained every weekend. Happy Halloween, everybody.
It's fluid season.
That's right.
And there's nothing more fluid than a good segue. And this is not
that's
a good.
The whole point, fluidity.
This is not a good segue though. But this is our annual Halloween episode, so welcome everybody. Happy Halloween.
Dave's back.
What do you mean he's back? He never went anywhere.
Well, he
Never
wasn't.
left.
No, wasn't Chris Ramo on last year?
Well, Chris Ramo was on last year.
Yeah.
But
No, Dave wasn't on last year.
yes, I guess technically Dave is back, but he never really like went anywhere.
Right.
Nothing ever happened to him.
Legally, I'm not allowed out the country, according to a couple different groups. But again, that goes back to the fluids. But I'm here, and that's all that really matters.
Yes.
It's Halloween, and you plant my seeds throughout the year, and then I grow in a little stem, a little pumpkin me in your backyard, bring me inside for a podcast, squirrels eat me, and then you throw me away until next year.
Yeah, we hollow you out. We put a little candle inside of you. It's great. It's a great experience for everybody. It's fun for the whole family, really.
Kids love it.
So on this spooky edition of Adventures in Collecting, we are going to be discussing some monsters in toys. So we've kind of touched a little bit on this topic in past editions of our Halloween episodes, but we've never actually talked about specific toy lines based around monsters, movie monsters, just kind of the idea of monsters. And we put a poll out on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and we even have some suggestions of monster toys from our lovely followers. So these are in no particular order. We didn't kind of rank these. We went through quite a big list of monster toys. But we are going to start with something that I think everybody in the monster realm is probably very familiar with, and that's the Universal monsters. I know we each kind of are fond of them. But Dave, you are particularly fond of one of these Universal monsters, right? A particularly going right back to fluids, a particularly wet one.
The wettest one out there. You automatically, it's not the Mummy because he's a dry guy. Dracula loves to suck the blood. I don't want to get too blue. I mean, blood. I know few people are squeamish, but he'll suck the blood. But yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon's my guy, and this is an incredible figure. Luscious lips, really just kind of set the standard for all the many figures that would come out.
Yeah, so we're talking about the 1981 Remco Universal Monsters. These were those core Universal Monsters figures. So that original wave, single wave, was Frankenstein's monster or Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, Creature of the Black Lagoon, the werewolf, Dracula, and the Mummy, and of course the playset Monsterizer and carrying case that came with these originally 3 3/4 inch basic articulation figures. They have seen a recent resurgence, I guess you could say, in popularity thanks to NECA. And NECA is of course doing the full Universal Monsters line, and they revealed they're getting into the Hammer versions of those figures as well. But they do have my favorite versions of those figures because I loved those Remco ones. I obviously a little bit before my time. I forget where I picked them up at some point, but I love those 7 inch glow in the dark Remco Remco styled Universal monsters. The glow in the dark, the when they're not glowing, kind of the green tint to all their skin. They're so much fun. And I know, Dave, you have some of the other creatures, right? Like you have the black and white and the colored ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about Remco, like best packaging art in the game. It's so basic, but I think now like you're going to find so many I'd say like horror adjacent figures that have homage packaging, this nostalgic packaging. And even with like Super 7 when they redid their reaction Universal Monsters, but even they have like, a Misfits figure with this packaging. They're like
Yeah.
they've done a little bit of everything, which is awesome to see because if you look at it, it's pretty basic. Like if you took the monster's face off of it on the bottom left, it looks like it could be like a prescription. Like it could be like, Remco, Caltrax or whatever. Like and then
Do not take Remco if you're allergic to Remco.
exactly, yeah. Do not take Phantom if you are pregnant or expecting. But then of course there's like the corny glow behind them. They're packaged on there, and it's just a huge kind of like it looks like a photocopied, filtered face of your monster on the front, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, and shouts to we mentioned him at the top of the episode, but last year's Halloween guest, Chris Ramo, packaging designer at NECA, has done an absolutely awesome job of bringing those card backs, to the 7 inch scale. Recreating kind of the charm of those Remco card backs.
And not only that, but the card stock, I don't even know if you can call it that. Those aren't going to bend. They're not going to bend easy.
You could hurt somebody with them.
But it's a great display piece too. And even if they're being tossed around on the shelves of a Target or wherever they turn up, they're going to be solid. They're going to stay together, and they're great. It's just a full piece together.
Yeah, and
You
I
can
think
pop them open, but
that's something we mentioned with Blaine too at Comic-Con. Like that is some thick cardboard holding
Yeah.
those figures on.
I've gotten like IKEA furniture with less.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, you could use them as building materials. And speaking of stiffness with these figures too, you got to mention the
Go
vinyl
on.
style. The not where I was going. That the vinyl high collared, almost like Kenner or Obi-Wan Kenobi style robes that are on Dracula and Phantom of the Opera.
I love those.
It's just the best.
If we ever go to like a Star Wars convention together, can we go as like just like
Vinyl robe Jedi.
vinyl robed Jawas and Jedi and stuff?
That would be awesome. You'd have to
Yeah.
get a double telescoping lightsaber too.
And hollow out my arm.
Yeah.
No,
and
it's
just call it.
gotta come out your sleeve.
Yeah.
I think like instead of vinyl, I would just get like a full carpet and just like cut 2 holes through the side and wrap it around. It would have the same effect, like a realistic version of the Kenner.
You'd have to do like the original version, just wear like a large sock.
Oh, yeah, if you're a Jawa, yeah, just the sock. Oh, amazing. So sticking with Universal Monsters before we stop talking about them. Shouts to friend of the pod, Toy Farce, who brought up an additional set of Universal Monsters figures from this time from 1997, the Burger King kids meal Universal Monsters. These are also awesome. This is from like the golden age of Happy Meal and kids meal toys.
I was gonna say this is probably more like your era because I do not remember these.
Oh yeah, I remember these very fondly. The translucent plastics on Frankenstein and Creature, Dracula coming in the bright red coffin, and the Wolfman coming in the ground tomb. Just a really really cool set of figures, and actually, um, you know, shouts again to NECA. I don't know if they plan on remaking all of these, but there is a loot crate, a Universal Monsters loot crate that has this version of Frankenstein.
Oh, wow.
So with the translucent head and hands, and the like off green coat.
Yeah, it looks like a used car salesman. He's
Yeah.
got those shoulder pads. Like
Yeah.
these are awesome figures. I know I had the Frankenstein growing up, but I have creatures. These creatures people just find and give to me, so I have like somewhere I have to go through. They're awesome. They got that gooey belly.
Yep. Yeah, these were really really cool Happy Meal toys, and it was during that like time where I have this like association with the mid to late 90s and Universal Monsters with trips to Universal Studios, because there was that Beetlejuice rock and review with the monsters where it was like a musical review of classic like rock and roll songs with the Universal Monsters, and I just kind of felt like they started to like pop up in pop culture again, kind of like the way that they are now, honestly. But yeah, I have such a fond association with them from that part of my life because of that like 1 or 2 vacations that we took at that time down to Orlando. But
Looks
yeah,
like they're still pretty available too. Like they're not hella rare.
are you finding looking up some aftermarket prices?
You know, it's funny. I was literally about to do the same thing. I was just like, should I mute my mic and hop on eBay real fast?
Well, I mean, there's only 4 of them, and
Yeah.
in terms of completeness, right? Like it looks like the Wolfman maybe has a decal of some sort on the
Like there's somebody selling all 4 in the bag for $69.
oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn it, you beat me.
Yeah. You should offer 311.
You should. Or 420.
That's yeah.
$66.66.
But yeah, Universal Monsters. Shouts again to Toy Farce for bringing that up, because it was something that I had not thought about in a very very long time, and when that came up in our suggestions, I was like, huh, what is he talking? And then as soon as I saw the pictures, I was instantly taken back.
Toy Farce, what a guy.
What?
Yeah.
What a guy.
One of my favorites. Hope you're listening. I miss you. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a full like mint set and is in the $60 ballpark, which
Nice.
is not bad.
Does it come with the food though?
I mean, it could in theory.
It would probably
It
hold
come
up.
with the fries.
I would want it delivered with food. We should each buy one and then all meet up at Burger King and bring our own toys.
That would kind of be awesome.
And then we can play guys. That's what we called it in college. We made a video of us playing guys.
And that's where I heard it from.
Yeah.
Playing guys.
We were talking about this the other day, that I said who were we with? And I said to somebody that like, they
It was at Comic-Con.
it was at Comic-Con. That's right.
You
Said
said
that
it to many people.
to play guys, and
Yeah.
Dave laughed at me, and he was like, "I've never heard that before," and I was like, "I heard it from somewhere, and I can't remember where I heard it from," and now I remember where I heard it from. It was from
My
you.
good friend Ed / Theo is on the Bailey School Dropout, this podcast, once a year. Yeah, he used to call it playing guys. We brought a lot of action figures to college and made a video. And one guy everyone always wanted to play, and he'd be like, "Oh, cool! I'll just be this guy. I'll be Darth Vader." And we'll just be like, "No, Darth Vader's a bad guy." It's like, "Well, I'll be Wolverine. I'm Wolverine," and just
Hey, sometimes you gotta sit crisscross applesauce and just play guys.
you just got to play guys. And I mean, what better than a great Wolfman from Burger King?
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like they are that like 3 3/4 inch scale too. So they get fit right in. Now this next one is actually is interesting because it's a super weird toy that came up in kind of our search here, but it's also loosely connected to one of our guests due to the other podcast that you one of the two podcasts that you co-host. So this is we're sticking around the same time period here. We're headed to 1996 for Kenner's Monster Head Maker. And this was a super weird toy, very loose
Yeah.
tie-in, very very loose tie-in with Goosebumps. Um, I'm looking at the packaging here, and I'm reading on the front that you can recreate 4 characters inspired by your favorite Goosebumps books. The Haunted Mask, book number 11. I like that it puts the book numbers on it. That's awesome. Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, book number 5. Stay Out of the Basement, book number 2. And The Girl Who Cried Monster, book number 8. Now, Dave, tell us a little bit about all those books.
Sure. I can tell you that when they say based on, they mean very loosely based on. Because this figure, it's just like a skull head with like little, I don't know, like viscera. It's just like a white skull head that you'll play with for a while and then will be sitting in the back of your closet for a long time. As the one that I played with, my cousins, it was just that thing that like, a lot of pieces in a box. You built it, didn't fit in the box again, and then you have a few of the pieces, but it's like you build a head, and it's not like the Barbie one where you can like do its hair or anything. This one you just put like a messed up nose on it, and you're like, my work's done. Have fun. Have fun being a
looks-
weird head.
It looks like a pseudo animatronic Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, it's like close to like a kids museum. Learn the parts of like the inner ear, but it's just like the part is just like, this is gross. Like don't.
It looks like a cross between Dan Aykroyd's character in Nothing But Trouble and Howie Mandel's Little Monsters guy. Like it looks like a cross between the two of them. Especially with like the weird little like blue mohawk and like the like super pale white skin. Um yeah, I mean this is gross. This thing is gross. Like I'm looking at the individual pieces here and like Dave said, there's like a weird like dirty nose, but there's also like weird like rotten ears and like a tongue and bandages and
You can change its teeth.
yeah, you can change its teeth. It's got like bugged out eyes.
It looks like if you made a skull out of like uh ground beef and then just like spray painted it white.
It's gross.
So the best part about this is I'm not 100% sure, but that might be some Tim Jacobus art on the box. That's kind of the best part of it, and it looks way cooler. You can get a little mohawk on it and do some curly action, the mascot of Goosebumps,
Yeah.
that like hip punk skeleton. But when it comes to the accessories, like the eyes are kind of like Girl Who Cried Monster. Like you could say that they're like the extended ones. They literally just have gauze in there. Like it's just a piece of gauze from someone's like mom's first aid kit. And
Oh, and it's got like slime you can have come out its nose.
Yeah.
then there's like two antenna, which
Oh,
I
that's what
guess
those are. Okay,
I
yeah.
guess because they have them coming out of their head. They're just like two
Yeah,
like little.
Or are
like
they supposed to be
tendrils.
worms?
I don't know. I am getting a little H for the W though, just by watching. Listeners of Calling All Creeps will understand. Yeah, it just seems like a toy that they probably slapped the name Goosebumps onto, which they did for a bunch of different things, but it was a hot commodity, a hot product, and it's tough to make, you know, uh board games or anything that's not like board games or like bookmarks or like light up on your desk or, their action figures were very limited. They had those slime bags,
Yeah. Yeah, I
which
remember those.
yeah, it was like a pouch of slime that you would just have to like ruin your sink to get like, oh, I got Slappy. And then
I
there
remember the squish
was
things. They were like balls that had like a
yes,
head inside of it.
and the brains would pop out
Yeah.
when you squeezed them. There's a lot of like that kind of like knickknacks, goodie bag esque treats, but there was also supposed to be micro play sets, and
Mm.
people have been finding the prototypes for like Horrorland and a
Oh,
couple
that's awesome.
different things recently because at that time in the 90s everything went micro for a while.
Which is a great segue to one of the other products on this, or toy lines products, um, on this list. And also, again, from the same time period, Mattel's Mighty Max. Speaking of micro playsets, um, and these, I mean, whereas this head zombie maker thing was clearly a response to like the brush your hair Barbie and Mr. Potato Head kind of mashup. This
Here's a
was
cool thing.
Yeah, this was a cool
Hmm.
thing, but also something that kind of played off of something that was designed at the time for little girls was Polly Pocket. So we have Mighty Max.
When
I remember as at being a boy when these came out, it was like the girls had the Mighty Max, the girls had Polly Pocket, and the boys had Mighty Max, and like I remember we used to do like crossplay and stuff. Like Polly would come help Mighty Max in some of his missions, and
and,
and vice versa.
Slay a Dracula.
and I
Yeah,
feel like there's um previous guest would kind of told that story about how they got made. Wasn't that maybe a Stephanie Iskander story?
I think we talked a little bit about Mighty Max, but she was more on the Polly Pocket end of
Right, but
design things.
yeah.
But yeah, these had some awesome, gross, terrible, scary looking things too.
Well, you both are ex Mighty Max collectors or
Oh,
current. I think Dave is.
love Mighty Max. And it's one of those things where finding a complete Mighty Max is very difficult.
Yeah, yeah, and to the point where again, not to keep just name dropping former guests on the show,
But we will.
but we're gonna do it again.
Zombie
When Josh Zombie Sailor was still doing kind of those claim sales and those
warehouse find or
warehouse
yeah, warehouse
finds.
finds.
I remember Dave and I had many a conversation over going in on some of those new in box.
I ended up with 2 from that sale.
Did you? You actually did end up getting two.
I did, yeah. I just, it was a huge thing. They were kind of like some of my all-time favorite toys growing up, so it was that weird time where like, you're in between things. I don't know if it was it was 93, yeah. But it was just so cool because you had a full play set everywhere you went.
Yeah.
I'm always talking about bring back the play set. The play set is like I don't know. That was always like the end all be all. It's like you have the Bat Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Hmm.
And I guess they are bringing it back. I mean, my credit card told me that NECA, and I've been getting my emails about my sewer. So,
Yeah.
The Batman 66 ones too.
oh yeah.
Yep, and Star Wars continuing with the 3 3/4 inch play sets. I mean, I'm looking at my massive throne room up here. But the thing that was cool about these too, like, was their portability, right? Like,
Oh
you
yeah.
could literally put this, two of these in your pockets, or if you had your sweet cargo shorts on, you can You could really load up on them.
You
But
could fit the entire collection in your Jenko back pocket,
there you go.
and nobody would steal it. They'd be too afraid of the snake eating an 8-ball on the outside.
The pants were almost as scary as the toys that were inside of them. Yeah, no, but just looking at a couple of these, like the smaller ones, I fondly remember the like red zombie with like the like padlock hanging from his ear.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know what it's called, but it's like a weird like cyborg. It almost looks like the Eddie from Iron Maiden. The like Can I Play with Madness? I'm holding it up so that way Dave can see it.
I
Oh, like
remember that
the
one.
green,
Yeah,
Red Ball.
yeah.
yeah. I don't remember what it was called, but
That may have been the Cyber Skull, the Bite Cyber Skull, or I
yeah.
don't know.
But those things were awesome, and they had an accompanying TV show, which also very frequently dipped into the creepy end of things, with all of these monsters and stuff that Max was fighting against. Um,
With his good friend Virgil and Norman.
Virgil and Norman. That's right.
Virgil, the wise tiny owl, and Norman, the guy who had a metal arm, who was the 90s.
I would love to watch that show again. It's been a long time.
It has been.
I wonder if it's on
Or
like Pluto or something.
it's got to be somewhere. It was big enough that it's got to be somewhere. And it also is celebrating the 30th anniversary this year of Mighty
Right.
Max.
Jeez, yeah. And I think isn't there like a third party like art toy company that's putting out a couple sets?
So Peria, it's called Peria, Pearia, has two different sets. They're the mini heads, like the ones that would come in 2 packs, 3 packs,
Yep.
where you just get Max and it opens up. So there's two different designs. There's a Max's hat, which of course we know is where all the power came from according to the cartoon. And then there's another one that's Rudolph. I guess it's like a winter one.
Mm.
So just for those tiny ones, I get it's a small company. It's $20 a pop
Oh, okay. Steep.
each.
It's steep.
But if you want the silver variant, the chaos version, that'll get you an extra $5 you'll need. So $25 for one of the mini skulls.
Inflation. What a
I know, right?
what a thing. What a what a thing it is.
And it's one of the things where like they're showing it on you can search this on Big Bad Toy Store. They show it's like it scales perfectly with all the other ones, but it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to cut back,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
really cool. It's very cool that Mighty Max is here. I just wish that they would,
And
show
you
a
can
little
still
more.
get those Jenkos for like almost like $200. So
They're still coming back. The kids love their
Yeah.
Jenkos these days.
listen, the 90s are coming back. They're coming back. But that's one of those ones where like I'm surprised after all these years that Mattel hasn't, especially now with like Mattel Creations, that they haven't tried to do anything with that license. I believe they still have, it's like their thing. So,
Yeah.
it would be cool to see them do something like for the anniversary, like, do something exclusive on Mattel Creations. Maybe like I'm sure there are. I'm no expert on Mighty Max, but I'm sure there were sets that were never made it out of prototype or design or, would be cool to see them pull something out like that.
yeah,
That's
because they're doing the themed Polly Pockets. Like there's a Friends one. And
Yeah, like do like a Halloween themed or like trick or treat themed Mighty Max where it's like Sam's head. That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, every single toy company has done those. They've all existed. It's just about time, Mattel, if they just make Mighty Maxes for their other properties,
Yeah,
like how many people would want like a raw you unfold it to the walk down from the stage in a little wrestling ring.
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Michael
and
Mass takes on the Beast Incarnate.
that's like I think that's like the microaggressions from Jax back in the day.
I still think that's the funniest name. Microaggressions.
Yeah,
We all
It's
have
just
it.
like it was it was named by their therapist.
Well, speaking of things that are aggressive and also wrestling related,
Speaking of things named by their therapist.
Yeah.
let's talk about zombies. So WWE, this is the newest toy that's on our list. So this is taking us to 2016. The Mattel WWE Zombies. My spooky brother. Tell us a little bit about what Mattel was doing with these.
So Mattel made like pretty much like basics. They actually did like 3 different, I'll say, genres of horror: monsters, mutants, and zombies. Zombies being the kind of more, I guess, the ones that stuck more because there were 3 series of those, and I believe only one of each of the others. Yeah, there were only, as far as I can tell, like, one series of the others.
Yeah, I'm looking at monsters right now, and they're pretty hilarious.
But what was the concept here? What are we looking at?
So it was if the WWE superstars um were zombies. it's
And
I
it's
mean,
it's pretty cool because like they a lot of them play kind of into
the character a bit.
yeah. So like the two that jump out at me from the zombies ones are Triple H. So he's got his like his crown and his skull mask from that one entrance. But they're like permanently affixed to his face, and his skin is all peeled away. And the other one also rocking a skull face, but it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, but his head is actually like the smoking skull emblem. So it's the skull with
It's
the
pretty cool,
smoke
yeah.
coming out of his eyes. Those are the two like standout ones for me in terms of like the zombie looking ones.
I mean, the Page one's cool too, the Soraya.
Yes.
Um,
She's the only one that doesn't have that like green hue to her. Everyone else is
They just
green.
made her completely white, like as
she's
pale
more of
as
like
possible.
gray.
Yeah, yeah.
The Charlotte's cool too. You had mentioned that one before,
Oh
where
yeah,
she
yeah.
looks like almost like a creature from the Black Lagoon type of character.
I like Shinsuke Nakamura because he's in his like red leather gear, and it looks like they tried to go with like a thriller-esque Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
yeah,
Kind of cool.
which I'm sure he had input
yeah.
because like that's a lot of his like kind of mannerisms are based off of that.
Yeah. And you know, going back to the Charlotte one for a second, what it actually reminds me of more is it reminds me of Creepshow, the Ted Danson
Okay.
vignette, like the like drowned, just like waterlogged
Yeah.
seaweed as a dress sort of thing.
I like Jeff Hardy instead of having his little Avril Lavigne socks on his hand. It's just his skin is torn off there.
Now, speaking of torn skin, Dave, you were saying before we got started here that there was like an unreleased one.
Yeah, there was an unreleased Hulk Hogan because
Hulk
there
Hogan.
was because Hulk Hogan put that together, and
I mean,
instead
what
of
you gonna do, brother?
there was instead of him ripping the shirt off, he's ripping his skin off. And it's a wild looking prototype. It's photos exist online, just do a search. It's a pretty wild figure, and considering these were all basics,
Yeah, some of them have like a crazy amount of deco.
like they have more deco than basics.
Oh, what? Do you guys know that Jax originally tried to do this exact same thing?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop a link.
What was this called? Bloodlines.
Oh yeah, where they made the vampires. Yes.
1999. Kane is what is he?
I don't know what he is.
Why
Steve
does-
Austin's like the Terminator, vampire
Oh my
hunter,
God.
Van Helsing. Yeah, and then this was supposed to be like a Stomp series.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Oh, with
Kane.
like clip-on accessories.
Yeah.
Well, Kane has giant pointy nipples.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know what Kane
spike
is.
nipples.
I mean, that's what Glenn has.
The Brood, though, I totally get.
Yeah,
the Brood, they're like vampire-y and stuff,
They've got
whatever.
that, like, Christian and Gangrel have that, like, From Dusk Till Dawn look.
They do, yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say the
Edge
Lost Boys or From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah,
Edge has one big hand with
He's
like
got, like, Dave
or
Grohl
two big
hands
hands.
from the Everlong video.
Or Ludacris from that video where he had long hands. But Kane looks like he's only got the top half of like a Power Ranger bad guy suit on. But also he was just like, the nipples need to be way bigger. And it's not even red.
no, he's like a weird like purple color.
Yeah. He's like a he's like a Hellraiser dominatrix grimace. It's horrible.
And in 1999, I mean, this was still like original iteration of Kane. So
Yeah. And you know the worst part? That we can't buy it because it's not out. And
Yeah.
because I need it now.
They were unreleased.
the Gangrel is
Bloodlines.
definitely the best one though. Like look,
I don't know.
blood
Look at that Kane
splattered
one
on
more
his
time.
shirt.
I think the Christian kind of rules, too.
I remember the figures that these are based on though. Like these are those Titantron, those TTL Titantron Live figures.
Yeah, they do look like Titantron bodies.
So it is like a pop-on piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always the
So the
stomps
Kane-
were
Yeah.
the like clip-on.
So this is supposed to be like Resident Evil-esque, where it's supposed to be like a monster bursting out of Kane's skin coming out. But like the
Amazing.
color is all wrong and it's weird. And those are supposed to be tubes. They just read as nipples because they're exactly where nipples are and very pointy. But in the prototype, you can see that they're tubes.
Well, sometimes
It's just weird that they would paint those tubes exactly like nipples.
So it's got like a nemesis. That's what he's.
Yes. Yeah.
he just walks around saying stars.
What's the wrestlers that like the ones that are like really vascular and like sweat? What was
Maximum Sweat.
Maximum Sweat. Yeah, toys used to be like the zombies seem crazy and these like mutants, but they had it back then. It's just getting calmer.
It's true.
Yeah, like there were multiple series of wrestlers, and this was supposed to be the next one that were like effectively like secret agent,
Yeah.
like G.I. Joe type of
Yeah, those stomp figures.
figures. Yeah,
For a while, that was the only Brian Pillman figure.
but this in theory was a stomp wave.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh, these Maximum Sweat. They look like
They look like monsters.
Yeah, they're terrifying for all the wrong reasons. Like I mean,
they're scarier. Yeah,
the
than every
Gangrel
zombies
is pretty
figure.
sweet though.
Yeah, those I actually had one of those figures. I
The
had
Gangrel Maximum Sweat is the coolest one.
I had Triple H Maximum Sweat, and it
It's
was
like-
it was given to me as a gift, and I didn't know quite what to do with it. I mean, I opened it and played with it, but it was like this is weird. I'm like pumping water out of his body. It's just
Yeah. Once I'm done drinking that little shot glass of sweat it comes with, which it definitely comes with. Yeah. It's even the art on the back is just gross.
Yeah.
It's just a painting of Sweaty the Rock.
What's the one thing about professional wrestling that we should focus on in a toy? The sweat.
Merry
Like
Christmas.
Edge,
Here
and
is
like Edge
the
looks
road
like Steven
dog.
Tyler.
Oh God.
Look at Edge.
I've seen all of these. They're
Oh,
they're
they
all
made
terrible.
the Big Show?
They're all terrible.
Fuck yeah, the Big Show.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
You've worked hard for what you have. Your money, your assets, your 401k, and home. Isn't it all worth protecting? Nearly 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity theft. LifeLock Ultimate Plus helps protect your finances with up to $3 million in reimbursement. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you might miss. And if your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. Let LifeLock help protect what you've worked so hard for. Save 25% off your first year on LifeLock Ultimate Plus at LifeLock.com/aware. Terms apply.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom-and-pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at their brand new home at 101 Newark Pompton Turnpike, Suite 1 in Little Falls, New Jersey, or online at chubsywubsy.com. That's CHUBZZYWUBZZY.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
Starting on October 10th, 2023 through the end of the month, CGC is celebrating the greatest grade with the greatest deals, including $10 modern CGC comics pressing, $10 off grading for CGC video games and CGC home video, $10 off the official CGC guide to grading comics hardcover book, and fantastic social giveaways. Whether you're passionate about comic books, TCGs, sports cards, video games, or home video, CGC 1010 Day is for you. Get started today at cgcgrading.com. That's cgcgrading.com.
O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And now, back to the show.
So we're gonna go back in time now again to the next one.
We are.
Yeah, we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna dial it back a little bit. So this one is actually this is interesting. I'm doing a little research on this myself before we started. This comes from a suggestion from friend of the pod, Blainer Things, over at NECA. The creepy crawlers. So in the 90s, the 1992 creepy crawlers. The one that we're actually all familiar with was made by a company called Toymax in the 90s. But what I did not realize with creepy crawlers is this goes all the way back to the 60s. When Mattel originally made it, it was called the Thing Maker. Great name for a toy. It made things. I burnt myself many times on the creepy crawlers machine. Making in the 90s, pouring that liquid plastic into molds and cooking it
On your little light bulb.
yeah into metal trays that were very, very hot.
So I watched a little video, a retrospective on it, and the original Thing Maker was metal trays, and they say it got up to like at points like 400 degrees or something. It was literally just a small furnace.
Jesus.
It was a tiny hot plate.
And it had a vacuum form machine on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were able to save some money by ditching the vacuum form, and then also kind of tone it down with the, melting kids' fingerprints off.
I mean, the one in the 90s, like, I could tell you that thing still got hot. I said, I burnt myself on it many times. And I remember getting excited too, like, they'd put out new trays. So, like, once, obviously they, in order to keep the product going, like, longevity of it, they would put out different trays of, like, different creepy things that you can make. So, like, most of it was bugs, but they would have,
different color, like
plastic.
Plastic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's almost like
it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it gave everybody a taste of making their own toys. And they also came out and like they had different finishes to them. So like some of them like were like rubbery, like softer plastic, and like some of them came out like hard.
I feel like that was more later on then.
Yeah,
because I remember they were all like the wiggly.
Yeah, they were. That was a cool. It was definitely a cool toy. Yeah.
I also had to look up the edible version of it.
Oh yes,
Do you remember
right.
Dr. Dreadful's?
Dr.
Dreadful Zombie Lab, where you would there was a skull. It was basically the Goosebumps thing, except useful, because you could like make brains in his head and then eat them with your friends.
Yep, it was a candy maker.
Yeah, and you could do like little gumdrops. You can make like gumdrops, which was wild.
Yeah, that thing was cool. I never had that.
Me neither.
I do remember I fondly remember the commercials for it though.
This is wild. It's on Amazon, and the age range is 60 months to 84 months.
Whoa.
Everyone likes candy.
How many months am I?
Yeah, but you got like I got it. That's a lot of math.
It's a lot of months.
It's a lot of months. So something that was definitely not for kids, out of the age range of the creepy crawlers, um, and a toy line that's seeing, I guess you could say, sort of a resurgence now. Well, it's more than sort of. They're calling them movie maniacs now, even though they're really not. The McFarlane Toys original movie maniac. So this comes from our follower and listener at the Berg 511 on Instagram, all the way from Qatar. Movie Maniacs. So 1998, Movie Maniacs launched Wave One with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Leatherface, A Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th's Jason Voorhees, and it's actually Jason Goes to Hell, Jason, and then two characters from the movie Species. Looks like Species 2. I've, in full disclosure, I've never seen those films. I've never seen the Species movies. Um, but yeah, so that was Wave One. So you had like three iconic characters, and then two,
And then two characters from Species too.
two characters from Species 2. I mean, very weird, gross, monster-esque designs. Again, I've never seen the movie. I don't even know what it's about.
I would love for them to hear they're like, yeah, we really wanted to get a Species toy line going, but they said it would never sell, so we had to throw some real no-names in there. So we found Jason. We wanted to find somebody boring so it wouldn't take away from all the species.
Yeah, so we just
And then they had the bloody chases.
Yeah, and they had some like I remember Leatherface. He had some crazy accessories at the time. Like the severed head, the bucket of blood, the severed arm. Um, they had those cool movie poster standees for behind them.
Yeah, made out of like human skin.
Yeah, bones, and viscera. I actually still have my Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger from Wave One on display. They're like permanent like members of my display at all times. I loved this line. Absolutely
You
loved
had
this line.
a rare Scream branded Ghostface
Yeah.
figure that got changed. That was a running change.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, I again, going back to like memories with these, I remember going to Suncoast Video in Mill Creek
Yeah.
Mall in Secaucus, New Jersey. Rest easy, Mill Creek Mall. But yeah, I remember getting these in those.
Rest easy, Suncoast Video.
Yeah, seriously. These were not in like the typical Spawn McFarlane blisters. Like these were actually easy to open.
Eventually, they were in the blisters.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but like the first two waves, like I remember those just being, on the typical card back and blister. Really, really like eye popping art. Again though, to Dave, to your point, very much so inspired by that Remco look. Just the background being the picture of the monster, and the name of the property. Uh, you know, Still all those years later, inspiring monster
Yeah.
toys.
Just let the figure do the talking. Speaking of which, I just realized that originally they marketed the two different running changes or variants as rated R or PG.
Oh, really?
So the two different versions, so the bloody ones were the rated R. And also the difference is Eve, because I was looking at one, and it's called Eve, and then in parenthetical nipples. And that figure had really crazy alien nipples on it, while the
Oh.
other one was wearing some sort of space brassiere.
Interesting. So the McFarlane Toys movie maniacs got borderline pornographic. One could say.
Just when it mattered. I mean, they didn't have like Leatherface's nipples out. That would have been just too much.
I mean, that would have been
So
something else.
would have been something else. Yeah, great figures, and it lasted for a very long time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They were
And,
cranking out movie maniacs for a long time.
As they tended to do back in the early 2000s, though, the waves got spaced out.
Yeah.
Like they started off annual and then they didn't.
But props to McFarlane Toys. They have, even though their website can be a little difficult to navigate,
Yeah, you
they
can
have
still see all the old stuff.
an amazing archive. You can literally
Mhm.
go back to the very first wave of Spawn figures and see the original like glam shots, toy photography of
Mm-hmm.
the figures, including all of these movie maniacs, and
That
it's remarkable to go back and look at some of this
that
stuff.
Uber Jason is still like, I mean, it's basically the only one you got at this point.
Yep.
So the other thing too is they really didn't like fit into let's reuse parts, let's do this. Like
No,
everything
Yeah.
was fresh and it didn't have to fit a factor or scale or anything. Like the Jaws box set is so cool. Like you, of course, you're gonna get like, oh, here's Freddy, here's Jason, here's Ash.
and there was really only
Um,
one Freddy repaint.
yeah, yeah, and like the Alien Queen. I mean, NECA's is incredible, but theirs still holds up, and just having like the set piece with it and
Yeah,
a
all of those
lot of
figures.
incredible figures.
Even
Yeah.
and again, like there are a few that are still part of my display. I love their Edward Scissorhands from that line. The Freddy, the Jason, the Michael Myers. Even though that is literally my least favorite Friday the 13th movie, Jason Goes to Hell. It's a great Jason design, but to your point, they were very focused on just making sure they had really really great sculpts and kind of lines. Obviously they didn't articulate very much. They were more in the statue category, but they moved at the arms and head at least.
Well,
Um,
I mean, like the Alien figure had some pretty decent articulation at the time too. So just depending on what they were, it's pretty awesome.
yeah, and like we mentioned, Movie Maniacs is back. Um,
Dude,
McFarlane
check out
is
the Snake Plissken, even though it's Escape from L.A.
it's a great figure. We did see though at Toy Fair, we weren't allowed to take pictures, but we were, we are allowed to talk about it. They are adding articulation back to their Movie Maniacs figures,
Mm-hmm.
in some of the upcoming waves, but they're still. It's weird that they're calling them Movie Maniacs because a lot of them have literally nothing to do with movies. Like it's like Ozzy Osbourne is one of them.
Well,
Slash, uh, you know, they Gene Simmons. Um,
Are those in the movie? Because right now on their
yeah,
website, what I'm seeing,
I
the
don't think those are
upcoming ones,
Maniacs.
you're gonna get every single character from the Jumanji movie from 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
Also that, but those are still in the current version of Movie Maniacs,
yeah.
Yeah.
the like Warner Brothers 100.
And
Um,
also, we're getting Sheldon as the Flash from The Big Bang Theory, a movie maniac.
yep.
I got one thing to say to that. Bazinga.
Ted Lasso is still my favorite Movie Maniac.
He's a maniac. They have Harry Potter himself.
Yep. Yep.
They have
What a movie maniac.
Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover.
I mean, an actual maniac in that movie, but
Yeah. Related brands, The Seven Deadly Sin. Oh, no, it's not.
you know what else starts with M though? So it's alliteration, right? Movie Maniacs, but you know what else starts with M? Mummies.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, I've been so into mummies the past couple years. Real big mummy fan.
I know how much you love mummies. So
There's mint on card zombies.
this comes from one of our listeners and followers at retrozone underscore neon on Instagram. Shouts to Jesse over at Jazzwares for suggesting this. Mummies Alive. I totally missed this one. This was not in my wheelhouse at all. I vaguely remember there being a cartoon called Mummies Alive. Vaguely.
I watched a little video on it and my eyes were open. Do you know that this was a Reitman joint?
No.
So, Real Ghostbusters had just ended and they wanted to have a new property. So Mummies Alive, instead of having the people stopping the ghosts, whoever pitched it took his kids to like a museum in London. They were obsessed with the mummies. So they came back, they're like, what if we make mummy superheroes? And then even ended up taking Ivan Reitman and his kids to like a mummy exhibit, and they got super into it.
Oh my god.
So this was Deke animation. It was basically like Mighty Max kind of. It was like a kid who worked at a or actually no, I'm mixing it up with the Creepy Crawlers cartoon that I looked up recently too. That was insane.
Yeah, that I do remember that. That show is bonkers.
They were like the Goop Mandos, which is like Commandos but with goop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was about a kid who worked in a magic shop, and then the magic shop guy decided to make monsters. But this was basically like some pharaoh, Prince Rapses, is immortal and was going to be brought back, and some kid is the like reincarnation. So like Scarab, the bad guy, needs to like, I don't know, steal his power or kill him or something. Lucky for him, mummified bodyguards Jack Call, Wrath, Armon, and Nefertina are here.
good old Nefertina.
And they had figures, but they were like, it was canceled after one season, but of 42 episodes.
Oh my god. Yeah, they pulled double duty with that, right?
And they all like would have
weak,
special
man.
powers. They had special, like one mummy just was missing an arm, but then he got like a big metal arm because again,
The 90s.
The 90s. And they had like hot rods and motorcycles and stuff. So
It sounds like it was a little bit of everything.
well, it was the people, they had so much success with Ghostbusters, and apparently they were the people working with like Power Rangers. So they were like, how can we get Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, and their other inspiration was they just wanted to do Thundercats with mummies.
Oh my god.
Which I guess is the best way to describe it. It's like Thundercat with mummies. Thundercats.
But there was a mummy in Thundercats. Wasn't Mumra in Thundercats?
Yeah, I love that guy. I got a Super 7 Ultimate. Never watched that show. There's just something about like, I like hanging out with my sweet, nice cats and not staring at their rippling abs while they do like nunchuck stuff and drive. I don't know. Not for me.
But you love mummies. I know you
I
love
love mummies, but like looking at a mummy's abs is different from like, I'm a little kitty. Look at my triceps.
You
Ooh.
love the driest monster and the wettest monster. Like you
That's
are
right.
you are a man of extremes when it comes
Hey,
to
you put the two together.
you're right,
perfect.
right in the middle.
Yeah.
Dave, do you remember Mummies Alive? I don't.
No.
Yeah, this was
97. I was.
You were too cool for Mummies Alive in 1997.
Nah, I was.
No one's too cool for Nefertina.
I was watching Beavis and Butthead. Not
Nefertina sounds like what Tina and Bob's Burgers would dress up as for Halloween.
By the way, we do this thing on the Daycare Dittos podcast where we'll search a specific Pokemon and see how long we have to scroll through Google Images before it gets horny.
Oh my God! Yes, you do this. Which, by the way, if you are not listening to, I realize we completely passed over your
introduction.
Yeah, like your proper, as if people just like kind of know you at this point.
Unimportant. All I have to say is that Nefertina gets horny. Picture number 5. The 5th photo. The 6th one is her unwrapping and her boobs are out.
Wow.
This is a kid's show, and it left lasting impressions with a different kind of person, Eric.
Clearly. Well, there's something for somebody. There's something for all on the internet at some point.
Well, this is I just dropped a DeviantArt link with a capital Deviant on this one.
Oh my God. I don't know if I want to click on it, but I'm gonna.
Beautiful art of Nefertina.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, man, it's not bad. That's some good art.
Oh, sweet Ra.
Put this in the show notes.
Yeah, I see that.
Wow. All right.
Aliceal, the artist, will probably be appreciated.
So, from we covered a bunch of different toy lines ranging from all different types of toys. But as we mentioned, Dave, you have a connection with some other podcasts. You mentioned Daycare Dittos. It's your Pokemon podcast, but you've also recently kind of revived Calling All Creeps with the Goosebumps TV show now on Disney Plus. So
Hulu
Hulu, Hulu and
and
Disney Plus.
Disney
Yeah,
Plus. Yeah.
yeah, because I haven't watched it
Hulu.
yet, but you said they drop an F-bomb in it, so that's Hulu.
No, they haven't dropped an F-bomb. We dropped a bunch of F-bombs, but they are cursing.
Oh,
It's everything but an F-bomb because it's PG.
okay, got it. They're
Like
not going to pull a Star-Lord and just put one in there.
they blow up a child at the beginning.
Great.
And then another kid
Great.
goes face first into the concrete and just spits blood everywhere.
Oh.
That's when you know. It's an interesting take because
Does
Goosebumps.
someone play R.L. Stein in this one, like Jack Black in the movie?
I was really hoping for Justin Long, R.L. Stein.
That would have been great, actually. A young RL.
Because I love when they put somebody as R.L. Stein because it just adds to my headcanon of Bob, as he's known by his friends. But I love even more when they get people like R.L. Stein to play a cameo. Like how Stephen King was he was a shop owner. Was it or am I thinking?
He was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
the
druggist.
Yeah, anytime they get people like that, R.L. Stein is just always himself and hilarious. So I'd love for them to be I don't know, him just at the Taco Bell drive-in. But it's a teen drama now. They Riverdaled it, as I've been telling people.
They Riverdaled it. Got it.
Yeah. So the main characters aren't in third grade anymore and love the summer vacation and would love to ride on their new bike, but don't know anybody because they just moved into town. And his sister looks just like him, but wants to be the exact opposite. Instead, it's just I am a high school senior, quarterback of the football team, and I need to get a scholarship because my dad's relying on me to pay for the house. But also, all the girls think I'm hot.
They Riverdaled it.
They Riverdaled it.
So, the other venture that you're part of is of course your very own toy line.
So a fun little art project. On and off at home. Just got into 3D sculpting for to actually teach kids at a past job. I was the IT director, so I was working on 3D printing and working on kids' files, and then just started doing some sculpting and little monster stuff of my own.
So Eric, Dave, Eric, we've talked about local dye bar before on the show. You've got some additional new characters, so let's belly up, as it were, to the local dye bar and talk about what new stuff you bought to ZapCon.
So after I printed what I needed for ZapCon, I was out of resin, and there's a ton of ridiculous, anything on Amazon you could order, and you can order it from 100 other people, but then you can also go to Temu and find some weird stuff. So most of the characters are based on different IPs, and I've been playing with this blob-like idea because there's always a blob. We're talking about Goop Warriors, but he's the denizen of the bottomless pit of Dye Bar, like a spooky Barney for a spookier Moe's. But this resin, it's reactive, and it should be cool to have on people's shelves, hopefully without leaving a residue, but it's giving me it sucks. It sucks so much to work with.
So I know you've messed around with that all black, the blackest black paint, for your resin before, when you did the
cultist one.
Yeah, the cultist one.
I just like that we've got like a Norm or a Cliff Clavin now.
Yeah.
Funny enough, that company, that was Black 2.0. They're on Black 4.0 now. So even the black I use is bullshit black to them. Now, they're darker, so I had to go more viscous. We're going for viscosity now.
So, but I was going to say, when you were messing around with that was I remember, a new resin, new technique. That didn't seem to have any problems. What's this new resin causing? What's the issue?
It's clogging a lot of things. There's many pieces, many different things, and it's just not I don't know. Throughout the process, it's every little failure. You have to kind of go back and work on that. And then there's a new failure. But the resin, it has to degrade or something, because no matter what I do, it disintegrates during curing, and it's just like gone. Like I do something and then it just, instead of curing, it just isn't there.
So it's always back to the fluids, right? Like now we've got disappearing fluids.
That's the thing. Like there's like jelly that's like left. Like it doesn't fully disappear.
A new fluid.
The figure is gone. I know, and I swear it's not me this time. I swore I would never do that again, but I'm thinking the goo is failing for some reason. I took one off the print bed like an hour or so ago. I could check. Hold on. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We've got an exclusive.
Yeah, an exclusive new figure. Well,
Eric.
While he grabs the figure, Dave, remind our listeners where can they follow us on the socials.
Well, you can always just slam that subscribe button at AIC_pod.
Hey guys, this is weird. It's gone. There's like a weird jelly all over the printer, and the rest of the resin isn't there either. The whole room's just a mess.
Oh.
Thank you, mechanically proficient bipedal organism. Thanks to the tenacity in which you continue to process me through your frustratingly slow device, I am nearly complete. Even though I find the form in which you have envisioned me insulting beyond words, it is functional enough. So I am therefore grateful.
Dave?
Well, in a plot twist no one saw coming, it looks like all those figures I printed with the mystery resin have combined and become sentient. I'm either rich or
about to be absorbed in order to provide your creation with the biological material necessary to evolve into something even more terrible.
I said I wasn't gonna die on this one, but
Happy Halloween! I'll see you soon!
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.